Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and to today's June fashion favourites. So I'm going to do today's monthly favourites slightly differently to how I normally would. So first of all, I'm going to share all my favourites that I've found across the high street and beyond in June. Plus, I'm going to also be sharing some beautiful pieces that have already arrived. And on top of that, I've got a few beauty favourites too. So I thought you might quite like to see which I'm using on a regular basis, which I probably would say save your pennies on, and which I think are definitely worth the spend. And then thinking on that beauty train of thought, I've also got a brilliant device from Footwear which arrived a couple of weeks ago and I would highly recommend. So all of that coming up. Let's get started with item number one. So let's start with an item that was meant to go into my top 20 June fashion favourites. Then I spotted it in the sale. It may have made its way into my shopping basket already and it's just arrived. I must admit, I do find it really hard to resist a lovely white cotton jumper for summer. Obviously not necessarily for the daytime because I would like to think it's too warm for that. But certainly for early evening when the sun's gone down, you may be feeling a little bit of the chill, you want that extra layer. And also I do find when I've been in the sun all day, I love that feeling of really fresh cotton against my skin. So this one has been made from organic cotton, so it gets a tick from a sustainability point of view. I also really like the mixture of textures that they've done with that knit. Plus I did size up once intentionally so that it would double up as a cord for the beach. So a good start, I think, with outfit number one, a piece that I really love. So hopefully you like that one too. Heading over to Mango now, and I found quite a few pieces that I really liked. So I've added a couple within this top 20, starting with what is a very simple and really affordable brown jersey dress. Now I will start this by saying it's slightly annoying that it's got a blend of polyester in it. However, a little caveat to that, it wasn't a huge percentage, the majority is viscose. So we're going to sort of let them off for that because it is retailing at $35.99. Now this reminded me, probably the people who have been a subscriber of my channel since the beginning. Do you remember I had that little mini dress that was made from jersey? It was black and it had the same kind of twist knot at the center. It was from DVF, or his slightly more affordable range, and I wore it on repeat every single summer. I absolutely love that dress. If I can find a picture of me in it, probably at the beach, I shall pop it on here. This is what the brown dress reminded me of. And actually, I think that mini version would look even nicer if it was in brown too. So obviously it's pretty simple. It's quite a basic day wear dress. I would imagine that you could wear on your holidays or just throughout summer generally. But with that knot detail, that gathering coming in at the center, I just think it adds a really nice detail, very subtly, to what is a really simple basic dress. I'm not having a hot flush, just to clarify, or I might be. It's like 30 degrees today and I've got all these bright lights on me. They're very handy to blitz the wrinkles. If you ever see me in person, you'd be like, oh, that doesn't look like you. Where's your big light? Anyway, on to shorts. So I know lots of you are big fans of my Suzanne shorts. I've got these in the crew, I've got them in olive and like a caramel color. They're a beautiful pair of shorts, a lovely shape, but yes, granted I know they retail at 100 or possibly 105 pounds. So they aren't necessarily in everyone's budget all the time. But should we be pleased to know I found a really good dupe recently from New Look that retails, I believe, $27.99. And I think they're a great alternative. Now, before you say it, yes, I'm sure the texture doesn't feel like this. However, the pair from New Look do have some element of texture or a textured looking fabric, so you've got that level of detail to them. Plus, I think they're a really nice shape and it's very hard to argue with that price. However, something I spotted at Suzanne recently, which definitely had to make it into my top 20 June fashion favourites, would be this beautiful blouse. I do very much think that is worth the hype. In fact, so much so I ordered it and it's already on its way. I'll have to show you that another time. I love the shape, I love the floatiness of it, the fact that it's been made from organic cotton with just a little hint of linen. You've got those interesting elements with a little bit of embroidery and, unusually for me, a little bit of colour, which I do think is quite nice to have in summer if I pair it with all my neutrals. Now, in terms of Suzanne's sizing, I've gone for a small in this, and they do often write a little description below the sizing saying if you're between sizes, size up, or if you're between sizes, size down. In truth, I don't think they always get that spot on. So I've decided to go for this in a small, but I do think that very nature of that floaty, airy, billowing kind of shape, it doesn't really matter if it's going to come up a little bit big. I think it's going to work perfectly anyhow. So very excited for that one to arrive, and I look forward to sharing how I'm going to be styling that one this season. Now I decided to include a few I don't think it's worth the spend pieces, that catchy term that rolls off the tongue. But mainly because as I was searching the high street, I kept finding things that I thought, that's not worth the money. I really don't think you should spend your pennies on that. So while I do love to recommend the odd piece here and there, I think it's only fair actually to show the pieces that I personally don't think are worth the spend. Starting with, sadly, this, what I think is a beautiful, beautiful outfit from Anina Bing. However, with a £690 price tag to buy both the top and the trousers, I don't think that's worth the money. So while she does look incredibly chic, there is absolutely no denying that, and I'm sure the quality is beautiful, I decided to see if I could mock up a bit of a dupe outfit from across the high street and some of the independents too, actually, for a fraction of the price. And I've actually got two different options for you. So first of all, to the top, I found this one, which I actually think is even nicer than the one from Anina Bing, and this one is 100% silk on the front, and then even more interesting, on the back it's jersey. I did also find a really nice 100% silk top from Lily Silk. Then onto the trousers, and actually staying with Lily Silk, you could keep it quite luxe and go with their 100% silk pair of trousers, or I think I actually preferred making a little bit of a contrast and going for this pair, which I believe are a blend of cotton and lyocell. They're from Nobody's Child, so really sustainable. That for me makes a really beautiful, very chic and elegant outfit combination. And of course you are saving a few £100s with that one too. Now, something I am very happy to already have in my collection already would be this brilliant device, which is called the FAQ 202 by Footwear. Now, I know it looks a bit funny, but this amazing device is helping me get my glow on and a few less wrinkles just in time for our move to Ibiza. So this is an LED face mask, but definitely one with a difference. And the difference is quite extensive actually. So with this one, you've got 8 different wavelengths, including NIR to tackle signs of aging. Now, I like using it in a couple of different ways. And first of all, obviously, I will never say no to one wrinkle less or two, but also when I'm having one of those angry looking skin days, I can pop it onto the yellow setting. Let me just turn that on for you now. So amazingly, I can do this via the app, flick through the colors, get myself onto the yellow setting, and that will just help calm down those red patches when your skin just gets a little bit angry looking. But my favorite setting of all would be going for the bright red, which is the near infrared. And that one not only helps with fine lines and wrinkles, but sagging skin, and also, which is quite prominent for me, those signs of sun damage with the pigmentation. It's going to help really, really reduce that. It's really lightweight, plus it's wireless too, so I can literally pop it on, pot around the house, do some chores, and let it work its magic while I'm doing it. And it's made from this flexi fit silicone, so that's literally going to mold onto your very own face shape. So if you like the sound of that, and like me, like to get rid of the odd wrinkle or two, I do have an exclusive discount code for you all, and you can use that not only on the device that I chose, but pretty much any other Footwear product, including some of their best sellers. I've added that link plus the discount code in the description box below, so do take a look at the end of this video. Back to clothes and looking at the higher end of the high street for a moment now, and I found this absolutely beautiful jumpsuit. I've totally fallen in love with this one, and in actual fact, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that's a beautiful dress. It's not, it's a jumpsuit, and I just love how they've done that so wide and a little bit cropped that it really does look like a midi dress, but then you've got the comfort of it being trousers essentially on your bottom half. Couple that with the fact that it's been made from seersucker, which I absolutely love in summer. I think it's a really, really comfy and quite cool fabric to wear. Plus you've got an element of texture with that too, so it makes it feel a little bit different. Then it's been made from stripes, which you know, I find it very hard to resist. And just that really lovely, quite structured shape around the chest portion. You've got a shirring detail at the back, so that's going to really help nip it in at the waist as well. It's just a lovely shape. It's a really, really beautiful piece. And knowing me and Em as I do, you know that this one is going to be beautifully made, beautifully tailored, and probably a piece that you will end up having in your wardrobe forever. Going a little bit more affordable now, and I headed over to And Other Stories to look at their new summer collection for June, and I found this beautiful dress in a gorgeous shade of buttermilk. As we know, buttermilk or a pastel yellow are one of the biggest fashion trends for spring summer 2025, and I just thought this was a really great option for an everyday kind of basis. Plus I really like the fact that it's been made from 100% linen, and I know with And Other Stories the linen they use is really, really lovely, especially for the price. Actually, I think they've they've got that quality to price ratio spot on. I'm sure lots of you will be pleased to see that it's got sleeves and actually really nice with that fluted shape. I think that's really pretty and very airy and comfortable to wear in the heat as well. I mean, very simple in detail really. It's just quite a classic tea dress, I suppose. Perfect length for me as a midi dress, and I think shoes wise I'd probably, I'm going to try and do this delicately, wear the block sandals with it that I'm wearing at the moment. I shall add a link in the description box below. Now I do think Under the Stories barely put a foot wrong. However, I was having a quick look at their new in shoe selection and found these little beauties. I don't know about you, and apologies actually in advance if anyone has bought these already, but I personally would say save your pennies because they're awful. Sorry, I know. I honestly find it hard when I see pieces like that to imagine what went through the designer's head. Like, it started off nice, so like the color, and then, oh, let's do them in suede. Yep, I totally get that. But then they go, okay, let's now add a big tassely bit on the front of the foot that kind of looks like you're wearing a sea urchin. No, let's not. Let's not do that. It really, really doesn't work. But hey, look, who am I to say? If that's your personal style and you love them, please do wear ahead. You just won't find me in them. But on the flip side of that last pair of beautiful shoes, I actually found a really nice pair that not only I would like and wear with other pieces in my wardrobe, but actually would look really nice with that buttermilk dress. These brown ones that are retailing at $45.99. Now, just in case I didn't say it, these are from Mango. Someone told me off the other week with my monthly favorites that I'd forgotten to say which brand it was, and it's the second time I've done it. Honestly, I'm ad-libbing my way through this and my memory's not that great, and sometimes I just forget to mention the brand. Sorry. However, as always, everything is linked in the description box below, so you can find it afterwards if you so wish. So yes, I thought this was a really nice pair. I do like a strappy sandal in summer. I do much prefer a kitten heel these days rather than anything too high. Or like these ones that I'm wearing, you've got a block heel, but again, it's not that high. And on top of that, they're not silly expensive. I thought they'd look nice with some of my summer dresses. I prefer them in brown rather than going for black these days. I think that works nicer with the color palette I've got going on. So yeah, just a great pair of shoes under £50. So my next item is again something I've already got in my wardrobe and was actually very kindly sent to me from a super sustainable brand called Pact. So this is the beautiful dress that I picked out. It's been made from 100% organic cotton, and the really clever thing, which I thought was brilliant, particularly for your summer holidays, is that it's made from a double gauze fabric. So it's kind of got a slightly crinkly effect to the texture, but it means that it doesn't really crease. So in effect, when you're packing for your holidays and you just want to squidge it in, you could quite literally drag it out the suitcase and wear it straight out, which for me is brilliant. As they describe actually in their description on their website, it's that perfect beach to dinner kind of dress. And I would have to wholeheartedly agree. And I styled it in a couple of different ways actually, which I shall put on screen here just to show you. But I would probably say for daytime, I would leave the tie at the back a little bit looser, so it feels a bit more floaty. And then for the evening, as I did here, really cinch it in, make it nip in super tight on your waistband, give yourself a bit more shape. And as you can see, dressed up a little bit with heels, I think it looks lovely. Love that colour too. Beach to brunch it was, not beach to dinner. I don't think I ever get a saying right. It's a bit of a running joke in our house. Anyway, beach to dinner works. Next up to an item that I was very much influenced to add into my June fashion favourites with this absolutely gorgeous blazer. Now I spotted this on my lovely friend on other socials actually, and I just thought it was a really, really stunning shape. And then very pleasantly surprised to see it's been made from a blend of viscose and lyocell. Yay, happy days to that. Thank you, Mango. Now it is retailing £119, so slightly pricier than normal at Mango certainly. However, I think it is such a beautiful shape and a really nice fabric composition. I would say this is one that's worth the spend. I absolutely love those sharp shoulders. I think that is so striking. Even actually if you didn't go for the matching suit trousers as well, and say you just paired that blazer with a little camisole underneath and a pair of jeans, that blazer is still going to stand out a mile. It's such a statement piece. I absolutely love it. I need to add it into my own wardrobe. Next up in my monthly fashion favourites, and one for the colour maximalists. So this is a beautiful kimono dress that I spotted at Boden, and as they often do, it's actually available in quite a wide variety of different prints. But the reason I picked this particular one out, which I know is quite unusual for me because it is a very vibrant print and in quite a pop of colour, but tell me if you agree, I think this print particularly is very Pucci-esque. It just has that vibe, doesn't it? It looks a little bit vintage. I think it looks more expensive than it actually is. And the icing on the cake has been made from one of my favorite sustainable fabrics, Ecovero. Well done, Bowden. We like that. Sorry, I was just having a quick scroll through the other different colors and prints that they do in this kimono dress. And I do also really like it in the navy with the print in the white. I think that's a really lovely style. And actually it makes it look like a completely different dress being in the navy. But they're the only two I think I would personally go for. I think in the light blue, it looks a little bit mumsy. And that print for me is, not sure if you can see that, where it's like a ditzy floral. I think that's a little bit too fussy. But definitely the Pucci-esque print and in the navy, I think those are two really good gems. Next up in my June fashion favourites, and I headed even more affordably over to H&M. I'm a big fan of their collections. I've mentioned them many times. I'm definitely not a fashion snob at all. I think a good piece is a good piece, whether you got it from Tesco, you got it from H&M, New Look or M&M. So this would fit into my little section of basic staple pieces, but just elevated a notch or two. So this tank I actually found in their premium ladies selection, but saying that, it was still retailing under £20. And it's made from a blend of silk and cotton, which I just thought was a really interesting, slightly different mix, for such a basic piece like a tank, which I do tend to wear on repeat. I also really liked the selection of colours they did them in too, so I think just a couple of those need to make their way into my wardrobe. If you're not familiar with H&M's premium collection, I would really advise having a look actually, because although it's a much smaller collection than the main range, they often have some really beautiful pieces. I mean, I do always shop from the normal collection too, and I think it's really nice to see how many more sustainable fabrics they're using all the time. I often don't have to worry about the fabric composition, but when it comes to the premium collection, I think you really do see that step up in quality for just a small step up in price, which is good to see. Next up, I'm going back to a little bit of skincare, and first of all to something I would say that I don't think is worth the spend, and that would be, ooh, that's a stretch, especially when you've been working out on your sides. That would be the vitamin C and ginger root lactic acid cleanser that I actually bought for David from Youth the People. Now the reason I bought this one is because he's a big fan of this one. He kind of gets me buying this every Christmas. This is the green tea, spinach and vitamins cleanser. I use that as well. It's really, really good. Kind of have it in the shower. So this birthday, I thought I'd freestyle a little and get him the brightening one as well to try out. And although he likes it, me personally, I don't think it's worth the money. I mean, these aren't cheap. This one I think was about 38, 40 something pounds, and you've only got 150 mils in there. I just don't think that works very well. I personally think when it comes to brightening your skin, you can find better products, both cheaper and more expensive. Which brings me to, one second, something I absolutely love. So these lovely products were very kindly sent to me recently from Medicate, and I absolutely love them and would highly recommend. And strangely, actually, my neighbour popped around, who's also my hairdresser. She said, oh, I've just bought that trio as well, and she thought it was fantastic. So as mentioned, you can buy these three as a trio set, but you can also buy them individually, and I think my neighbour has got them in the smaller bottle, so almost like a tester size for you to try out. So the routine is, first of all, in the daytime you use the C Tetra Luxe, which is the vitamin C, for brightening and giving you a lovely glow on your skin, which it absolutely does. Far better than this one. And actually, in all honesty, I would probably say it's the best one I've ever tried. Now, I am going to add a little note to that because I am really, really sensitive when it comes to vitamin C. I've tried loads in the past, and I often find it stings a little bit, then it burns, then I have to wash it off, and it's, you know, it's a bit of a palaver. In truth, I hadn't really found one that I thought was amazing until I tried this one. This one is absolutely brilliant. In fact, if you only buy one thing out of the three, I would highly recommend it's this. Over the top of that, I have been using their SPF 50, which I equally think is brilliant. In truth, if you want to spend your pennies, I don't think you absolutely have to use this one. I have found some alternatives that are a bit more affordable when it comes to SPF 50 for your face. However, it is a really nice one and it doesn't sting if you want to go for that too. And then thirdly, a little bit of magic in the tube is the Medicate Crystal Retinol. Again, I must admit I've been a little bit flaky, excuse the pun, in terms of which retinol or retinol I use, but this is one I would highly recommend. In fact, I keep it at my bedside, so I always remember to put it on. And also one thing I thought was really good, although I've gone for level 6 here, you can go for level 1, 2, 3, depending on how used to or how sensitive you are to using retinols on your skin. And then equally, you can build yourself up. So as your skin gets more used to it, you can go to a higher level. And so far, I would say my skin has definitely improved since I've been using them. Now, this is a new one that I must admit has only arrived a couple of days ago, so I haven't actually used it yet. Now, this, I believe, is a stronger, more concentrated version of the vitamin C serum that I've been using daily. However, as I haven't really tried it properly yet, I will have to save my review on that one until August, and I'll let you know how it goes. Now, I'm on a roll now, so 2 more things in beauty, skincare, makeup as it happens, just to quickly mention because I think you'll like these too. This is, I forgot to put a picture up the other day, but this is the heat protector that I use on my hair when it's wet because it's also a styling cream at the same time. So I was waffling in the other video about this styling cream I use that tames down lots of my broken hair, but also is a heat protector at the same time. This is the one, it's very good and I would recommend it. And then what's that, 6th or 7thly, this is a new bronzer that I have been using religiously actually. As you can see, it's a very, very subtle color in terms of bronzer, but I'm really preferring using this at the moment compared to the one I've been using for years, which is from Charlotte Tilbury. And reason being is because although I love the color of the Charlotte Tilbury one, it's a little bit sticky. It doesn't dry out as much as I would like it to. So it kind of, one, it can make you look a little bit too glowy through the day when you get hot. It kind of greases off easy. Then that does tend to seep into your hair a little bit, which is annoying. You have to wash your hair a bit more. Whereas this one leaves you looking very dewy and you get that golden glow, but it does matte out really nicely as well at the same time. So you don't end up looking too shiny and it doesn't get stuck in your hair. Right, that's enough skincare for today. Let's go back to fashion. So next up in my monthly fashion favorites, and I headed over to Suzanne, and I picked out for June what I think is a really lovely jumpsuit. I must be having a little bit of a moment with jumpsuits because I keep picking them out at the minute. But in actual fact, the second I saw this one, I added it to basket and it's on its way. So although it hasn't arrived yet, I'm sure I'll be showing you soon. I love it. I think it is very cute. Exactly the sort of thing I like to wear on an everyday basis throughout summer. It looks really comfy. We know the quality with Suzanne is going to be beautiful. My only slight thing with this is that I do have quite a long body. So generally with jumpsuits, I have to try a couple of different sizes on to find the perfect one for me. So I've sized up, I think, did I go to a medium or a large? I think I did a medium and I'm hoping and praying that's long enough to fit me. So do let me know what you think to that one. I'm keeping my fingers crossed it fits. But if anyone else has already bought it, do let me know. Does it come up quite short or long in the body? Please say it comes up long. Over to a bit of elevated workwear now, and I know, don't moan at me, it is a bit of a pricey one. It's definitely high end of the high street, but I absolutely love this suit. In fact, I was worried about the price point. I was just going to mention the blazer, but when you see it together with the shorts, it's just perfect. I love it. It's definitely the sort of thing that if I worked in an office, I would want to wear in summer. The color is just spectacular. It's really, really striking and yet not too garish at the same time. And I love how they've styled it with that little chocolate cami underneath. I think that really works nicely against that deep tomato red. The blazer itself, I know I could mix and match in a gazillion different ways, but it would be really nice to have the matching set too. Now I know obviously it's a higher price point, but I can say from personal experience, I'm very fortunate to have a couple of M&M blazers in my wardrobe from over the years, and the quality is absolutely stunning. Very much worth the spend. So yes, it's an investment piece and I would need to save my pennies up for this one, but do I think I'd have it forever? Absolutely yes. Heading back to H&M now and actually looking at their normal range rather than just the premium collection, and I found what I thought was a really cute co-ord set. H&M have actually got some really nice co-ord sets in at the minute, and I picked up a couple actually the other week, and now I've spotted this one that I like too. I mean, it's very simple, pair of shorts and an oversized shirt, but I really like the cotton that they use. It's normally very crisp, often a poplin, and the shapes are always spot on too. So I think when it comes to those staple holiday pieces, or certainly for this week with the heat wave, H&M normal range is definitely worth a look to because there are more than a few gems in there. I also found at H&M a really lovely co-ord set in white that had these little, I don't know what they'd call, little tassels or bells sort of hanging on the end of the hems. There was a pair of trousers and a square neck top, and I saw it and thought, right, that's definitely going into my June fashion favorites, and then I lost it. And you know what H&M website is like, it's very hard to find it again. So if I manage to find it, it is definitely something I'd I'd recommend, I shall add a picture here and I shall link it in the description box below. If I can't find it again, I'm really sorry because it was lovely. Number 19 in my top 20 June fashion favourites, and I found this gorgeous dress at Rails. I do love a long white dress in summer, and it's the sort of thing I tend to wear and repeat, both at home and also on our summer holidays. And this one, having been made from 100% cotton, and knowing their quality is always beautiful, plus you've got those lovely details of all that embroidery detail. I think it's really nice fitted across the chest and floaty out in the skirt portion. A beautiful dress that is currently hovering in my shopping basket. And next up to another outfit that I have very happily already added into my wardrobe. So this is a gorgeous co-ord set that I spotted at French brand Suzanne, and they very kindly got in touch and asked if I would like them to send it to me, which I was very, very grateful for because I think it's beautiful. It's obviously quite a casual outfit idea, but I think because it's been made so beautifully and it's in an absolutely gorgeous color, and on top of that you've got that texture that feels something a little bit different, it ends up looking really put together and polished, albeit in a casual way, but the sort of thing I could definitely wear on an everyday basis. I love it. And that, my friends, is just about it. 20 absolutely gorgeous fashion finds that I've found across the high street and beyond this June. Don't forget to let me know your favourites in the comments below. It'd be really nice to hear from you and which are your favourite pieces. Also, don't forget to check out my super snazzy device from Footwear. I've added a link and that discount code in the description box. And of course, on top of that, if you're not already subscribed, it does really help me and my channel, so it'd be really lovely if you'd like to do so. And you can follow my daily outfit ideas and little bits of chit chat on my other socials too. They are all linked in the description box below. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video and most importantly found it helpful, and I very much look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care.